Let's move on to now some very welcome news on our Sky News Antisemitism Summit. Peter Dutton has endorsed all of our 15 summit outcomes across education to law enforcement. He says there is strong and necessary response to this disturbing rise of anti-Semitism in our country. The coalition supports this plan and is committed to enacting the measures for which the federal government has responsibility to ensure anti-Semitism has no place in our country. He says the coalition has been unequivocal in its approach to condemning anti-Semitism and will continue to do so under his leadership at all times. He says enough is enough. And the response from the Prime Minister, well, so far, the Executive Council of Australian Jewry and Alex Rifchin haven't received a reply to their letter detailing the summit outcomes. And let's hope Albanese commits to these reforms, and let's hope this isn't yet another example of weak leadership on anti-Semitism. Now, one of the measures that Peter Dutton supported on the day of our summit was reform to the Migration Act. Have a look. Do you think the Migration Act should be amended so that anti-Semitic conduct is grounds to refuse a new visa?
Yes, without question. We've announced that we'll tighten up Section 501. I want to send a very clear message to people who hate us, hate our country, hate Jewish people, hate other segments of our society, that under a government that I lead, they'll have no place in this country.
So you will reform the Migration Act?
We will reform the migration program.
All right, to discuss this now, let's bring in Shadow Home Affairs Minister James Paterson, live from the new Liberal Party headquarters in Parramatta. I suppose, James, you were expecting an election this week, as election campaign, as we all were, hasn't panned out. But to start tonight, can you commit to, or can you comment on how Dutton and the coalition is committing to all of our summit outcomes if you win the next election?
Well, Shari, this was a great act of leadership by Sky News and the Executive Council of Australian Jewry, responding to genuine and deep community concern about the anti-Semitism crisis which has festered in our country over the last 16 months. And frankly, you had us at hello. We didn't require much persuading when we saw the list of proposals. We agree with all of them in principle and will implement them in government. And it's particularly important that we implement those ideas around the migration system. As Peter said, some of those we'd already talked about already and others you've extended. And it's self-evidently obvious that someone who's a guest in our country here on a visa, who has violated the principles of Australia, violated our values by engaging in anti-Semitism and spreading it in our country, that they have no place in this country and that we will not hesitate for a second to cancel their visa and deport them.